Hi everyone, it's Kara here from Boho, and I am back today with a brand new video, of course, and this one is all about my transition to a new bullet journal. I am almost to the very end of my current bullet journal. You can see by my page markers here, I've got about 20 pages left, and when that happens, I know it's time to start thinking about what I need my next bullet journal to do for me and to start getting her set up. So first, I just want to show you the journal itself. This one is a regular Leuchtturm A5 dot grid notebook. I've been using the official bullet journal notebook for my past two journals. I had my black one and now I have my emerald. And the folks over at Leuchtturm sent this one my way kind of as a gift, since I guess I'm kind of an ambassador of theirs since I love their notebooks so much. But they sent this to me as a gift with my Boho berry embossed in the bottom right hand corner. And I love it so, so much. Also, I've been on a purple kick. So I decided I'm going to go back to the regular Leuchtturm for this edition of my bullet journal, and I'm really excited about it. I'm definitely going to miss the third bookmark that the official bullet journal has. So that's definitely a drawback for me, but I think I'm going to come up with some sort of workaround. I'm going to either put in my own extra bookmark or use page flags or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure yet. The other thing with this journal, you'll notice this beautiful white mandala sticker, and this is something that's available in my shop, Boho Paperie on Etsy. These are very limited edition. I only make about 20 to 30 of these each month. They go into my shop at the first of each month and they sell out really, really quickly. But for this one, I wanted to take a really pretty picture of the sticker itself for the shop. So I thought, what better way than to put it on my own journal? So I apologize to those of you who are out there really, really wanting this sticker right now, but it's not available. I put a new design, a different mandala design in the shop every month. I'll show you my old one. This was the first ever vinyl sticker that I made on my first official bullet journal notebook, and you can see it held up really, really well. Sometimes with opening the notebook over and over again, some little pieces broke off, which you can kind of tell there, but I don't mind it. It's just normal wear and tear of a journal. And speaking of wear and tear, you can definitely tell on my current bullet journal, it's kind of been through a lot. Moving out of my home office and going into the office every day, I rented out an office space. I've been toting my bullet journal around with me a lot more than I used to. My bullet journals used to stay at home unless I was going on a trip or something, but this one not only went home with me to St. Louis for Christmas, then it went with me to Bali for 2 weeks, and now it's been going to the office with me every single day. So it's getting thrown around in bags and it's definitely taken a little bit of a beating, but again, that's okay. I'm totally fine with it. Okay, all of that being said, we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this video, which is talking about how I'm making the switch. How am I transitioning over? I get this question all the time, and normally I kind of wrap this in with my plan with me video for the new month and the new journal, but this time I thought I'd split it up. I thought it would be good to have a video to point people to that is just about the transition itself. All right, so let's get started. The first thing that I did when deciding to transition over, and I'm going to set this aside for a minute so I can show you what I've been working on. The first thing I did when deciding that I needed to switch was I went to my index, which is right here, and I put these, or I kind of highlighted. I used a Tombow dual brush pen. For those curious about the color, it's 373, but I just kind of put a little mark next to the spreads that I want to transfer over to my new journal, or that I want to continue using. I got this idea from Kim over at Tiny Ray of Sunshine a while back, and I've done it with my last 3 journals, where I'll just go through, and as I transfer things over, I can check things off of my index. All right, so you can see I have a few things checked off, which we're going to get into when we look into my new journal. So that's the index, and I made sure that I had my index completely up to date with everything that's in my journal so that I was able to quickly just go down the list and see what I want to transfer over. All right, after that, let's get here. You can see I'm almost to the end. All right, I created this spread, which a lot of you probably saw if you follow me over on Instagram, but I posted this about kind of pre-planning for my next journal. Again, actually in my very first journal, let me see if I can grab it real quick. This is my very first bullet journal, my Emerald. I love this journal so much. I love flipping back and seeing how much progress I've made. It's crazy. All right, so let's flip again to the index, and I want to find where I was planning for my next journal. Let's see. Planning for 2016, page 207. Okay, that's not quite it. This is kind of, I was planning for what I wanted to keep, let go, and try in my new journal. This was part of the bullet journal challenge on Instagram and on Facebook. So I did that for that, and page 222. Let's see. This is probably more what I'm looking for. 222. Kind of. All right, it's in here somewhere. I know it. I know it is. This is another one. Anyway, I got the original idea from Kim over at Tiny Ray of Sunshine. She did this huge blog post about how she transitions into a new notebook. And I thought the idea was just great to just write down everything that's working, what's not working, what do you want to try? Is there anything that you want to add or take out of your journal? I'm determined to find this now. I know it's in here. All right, planning for 2016. Maybe this is it. 158, 159. Yes, this is it. This is the original spread that I saw Kim's post on it, and I was like, oh, that's genius. So I have what to keep, what to add, what I want to try, and some different ideas that I had at the time. And then I had some little sketches of how I wanted to lay things out in my new journal. So I've been doing this in every single bullet journal when I get towards the end. And this one right here is my current plan for my next journal. So there's a list here of things that I want to keep, things that I want to add in, and then things I want to change, switch up a little bit. And then I did kind of a little teeny tiny mini review of what's working for me and what isn't working. I had a ton of questions when I posted this on Instagram. I'm going to try very hard to answer all of them. A lot of you are asking about things that I want to add and what they entail, and those I'll go over kind of in the future. When I add them in, I'll do videos on each one of those. But the big thing here is that I really didn't want to go into my new journal without a solid plan. So this was me kind of brainstorming how I want everything to go, and then again with my index, I marked what spreads that I want to transfer over. All right, so now we are going to dig into my new journal so you can see how I have it all set up. All right, here we go. It's so exciting. Don't you just love a new notebook? I love it so much. All right, we're gonna open her up. This is my kind of if found page, and I absolutely love it. I've normally just done my name and email address, but this time I wanted to kind of add something fun. I actually used this purple Papermate Flare Candy Pop is the name of these like pastel colors that they have now, but I used this for this entire spread, and I love that this purple matches this bullet journal so perfectly. I just adore it. All right, after that, we're gonna flip through. You can see I already have my index started for the things that I've added so far. Okay, and then at the very beginning, I added my calendar year at a glance. And in my previous journal, I just slapped in one of my stickers from my shop. But when I was setting this up, all of my stickers were at the office, so I couldn't snag one for myself. And I really wanted to get it done, so I just decided to write it in. So I have that good to go right in front for easy reference. And then immediately after is where I have my future planning. So this is my Calendex, which if you're curious how a Calendex works, definitely check out my Calendex video that I did last year. And then on the right hand side, I added in this horizon page. And this is something that I did not do in my last journal, and I really, really regretted it. I started this kind of as a solution in my last journal, this black one, and I'll show you. Yeah, you can see it here. And this method here is called the Alistair method. If you're curious about that, I'll link you to the bullet journal blog post where he talks about this method. But the idea is that you just list out your months, and then anything that comes up beyond your Calendex, or if you want to use this as a standalone future log, anything that comes up, you can just put a dot under the month that it falls in, and then write your dates and what the event is and all of your details. I have it set up in this one so that I have April, which is the first month of this journal, through July. So I have 4 months. I rarely plan anything more than 4 months out, appointment-wise. So I really didn't see the need to continue it onto the other page. So I did this horizon, and this is kind of a catch-all. If there's anything that comes up that is beyond July, I'll be able to write it here and I'll have it at a glance. Okay, and the other thing to note here is that I have this little section down here. This is for appointments that I have already made that were in my past journal. So I took a look at what was coming up in this time frame, April through July, and I transferred those appointments and events down here to the bottom right hand corner. And then you'll notice here I have, this one is kind of a coral color, it's my work color, and it says 3. So I look at page number 3 and I know that it's this workshop. And then same with this purple, I put page number 3, and that's a wedding that I'm going to be going to. And these were things that were already scheduled in my last journal, and I didn't want to have to flip back to my old journal to find those once I'm in my new journal. So I put those right here in the bottom right hand corner. After my future planning, I decided to put all of my goals right up front in my journal. One of my big things in my past journal is that I wasn't reviewing my goals often enough, or my big goals anyway. I'm really good at the day-to-day, but I'm not always good at looking back at the big picture and seeing where I stand. So I wanted to have these goals all up front. I have this little bullet list here, kind of just a quick rapid log of things off the top of my head that I know is unfinished business, things that I want to get to. I don't want to forget about them. I wrote them all down here. And then I have my spring goals, and this spread was actually inspired by Lisa Jacobs over at Marketing Creativity. She has this great system, and it's basically for 3 months at a time. So these are my spring goals. I had my winter goals in my old journal, which I'll flip to here, and you can see it's basically the same spread. I had my unfinished business there, and then I had my winter goals. And you'll see here too that part of the reason I wasn't flipping back to these often enough is they were smack dab in the middle of my journal. And that just happens to be when I set those goals and when I created this spread, but I didn't really think ahead. I didn't bookmark this page, and I wasn't flipping back to check on it often enough. So having this right at the front of my journal is hopefully going to help me to stay on top of my goals a little bit better. All right, after that, I have my 2017 moon phases spread, and you might recognize this a little bit from Instagram. Last week I posted this spread that I did in my current journal. It was really elaborate, beautiful, I love it, but I got this lunar phase calendar from Dr. Ezzie Spencer over at lunarabundance.com. I've really been noticing a shift in not only my moods, but my energy levels and all those sorts of things when it comes to the phases of the moon. So I decided to make this spread so that maybe I can track it a little bit better. So I copied her lunar phase calendar into my journal. In this new journal, I wanted to simplify it a little bit. So I did those lunar phases for the whole year right here on the right hand side, and then I have a short description of like intention setting and goal setting and what actions you should take based on the phases of the moon. So this may not be for everyone, but it's something that I've definitely noticed a correlation with in my own life, so I wanted to have this kind of up front and center in my journal. Okay. After that, this is another spread that I definitely wanted to transfer over, and I actually updated it. I've had my ideal day in my planner for quite some time now, and it always changes a little bit, and especially now that I have an office to go to, my my time schedule throughout the day has definitely shifted quite a bit, and I needed to kind of rehash my ideal day. So I decided to do that here on the left-hand side. And then on the right, I have my updated Level 10 Life. The Level 10 Life is something that I got from Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning. Great book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. But it's basically a goal-setting exercise, and I've done a few videos on the topic, so I'm not going to go into it too far. But if you check up in the right-hand corner here, I'll have a link where you can click back and see my older videos on the subject. But yeah, so I kind of estimated my different areas of my life. So I ranked myself on a scale of 1 to 10. And then at the very bottom of the page, I just wanted to write down one little tiny goal or reminder in each area to help me to improve in each area of my life. All right, moving on. This is the final thing I have set up in my journal right now, and this is my 2017 goals and intentions. And this is a new spread for me. It actually comes again from Lisa Jacobs over at Marketing Creativity, and she did a series earlier this year called New Year for a New You. And I absolutely love this series. I blogged along with her, sharing my responses around the beginning of the year. And it's actually adapted from her workbook, Your Best Year 2017. And I really wanted to have these intentions and goals again front and center in my journal. I want to be able to flip through these first few pages of my book and really be able to review all of my goals and see how I'm doing in each area. So the way Lisa splits this up is she sets goals and intentions in 5 areas: financial, spiritual, mental, relational, and physical. And you can see here, these were all of my responses to her prompts. On that day, it was day 3 of New Year for a New You on choosing your intentions. So she asks really good questions for each area. You want to ask yourself, what do I really want? What is important about it? How will I get it? And what is preventing me from having it? And how will I know I'm successful? So I really want to condense all of this down into goals and intentions, and I want to put it here on this spread. I haven't quite gotten there yet because it's kind of big. It's important to me. I want to have these things really solid and ironed out when I go into my new journal. So I'm going to be filling this in a little bit later. And that is all that I have set up so far. And my plan is, again, I have these items in my index that I definitely want to include in my next journal. I want to transfer my collection over for new sticker ideas for the shop. I have a list of tasks to delegate. Now that I have an employee, I'm able to delegate a little bit more work and get some stuff off my plate, which is it's a lifesaver, let me tell you. But I want to transfer that list over. Also, my social media image sizes, it's always really helpful to have as a reference. And then I definitely want to continue tracking my workouts and my fitness progress. Those I'm going to put in, I think, on a monthly basis, not necessarily at the front of my journal. So that is it, really. I'm going to transfer over those couple of collections, and then right immediately after that, I'm going to jump straight into the month of April. And I do have some plans. I'm going to get this out of the way. I do have some plans when moving into my new journal, as outlined here, for things that I want to add in. So I want to add in a monthly abundance tracker. I want to do a little bit more project planning within my bullet journal, so I'll definitely have some video series on that. Also, meal planning, I want to be more consistent. I sometimes plan out my meals and sometimes I don't, and I really want to develop a system for meal planning that's simple, where I'm not having to write out a huge big spread every week for meal planning, so I'm working on that. I also want to start being a little bit more accurate about how I'm tracking my sleep. So I think at least for a month, I'm going to try a full spread sleep log. I also want to incorporate a weekly review. This is something that I've seen, again, Lisa over at Marketing Creativity, I've seen her doing on a weekly basis in her journal, and I love her layout. If you haven't yet, check her out on Instagram. It's at I am Lisa Jacobs. I'll link her in the description box below for sure, but she has some really great goal setting, review process, just has great information and a gorgeous, gorgeous bullet journal. And then after that, I have blank space journaling. I do keep a separate long form journal for all of my thoughts and you know, whatever you want to journal about at the end of the day. But I've been thinking about the blank space in my journal, like on my daily pages where I have these little areas on each of my dailies. And I've been thinking about filling up that space with some quick, like short journaling each day. Lately, I've been doing this 1 line a day on my monthly spread, which I really, really like, but I'm thinking of getting rid of that and just doing a little line or 2 each day within that blank space of my dailies. So we're gonna see how that goes. That's all the things that I wanna add. And then things that I want to change. My color scheme, I love my pastel color scheme I've had in this journal, and I absolutely love that the whole journal is the same color scheme, but it's definitely gotten a little boring and monotonous. So my plan is from now on to maybe change up my color scheme each month, so we're going to see how that goes. My monthly log, I'm thinking about doing a new format. I feel like the traditional list format of the monthly log has gotten a little stale for me and I want to try something new. I'm actually thinking about going back to, let's see, I think October is the first time that I did that traditional, or that I switched from the traditional monthly spread. Let's see, October, page 92. Where is it? Yeah. I think I want to go back to something along these lines for my monthly spread, where I have it set up for morning, afternoon, and evening events and appointments, or even all day, morning and evening, AM, PM, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. And then to have my monthly goals listed again like I normally would. So this would take up my whole monthly spread. And instead of having that 1 line a day, I would add that into my blank space bullet journaling. All right. After that, making my self-care tracker a full page. I've been loving tracking my self-care each month. And you can see it here. I love this little graph. One thing I've noticed is that I rarely go down below like a 4 or 5. So I'm thinking of starting it at a 4 instead of having all this extra blank space down here. And then I'm thinking about making it a full spread. So maybe spreading it out a little bit and also having the moon phases somewhere on that spread each month so I can more directly track how those things affect me. All right, and then the last thing was the Calendex/Alistair hybrid for my future log, which I already showed you. And then last but not least, my little review questions here. What's working? I said what's working for me is a combination of weekly and daily planning. My trackers, they keep me focused and motivated. Like I get really motivated to get stuff done when I know I'm going to be able to mark it off on my tracker that day, which I guess is the whole purpose, but they're really motivating to me. And then planning the night before. Anytime that I miss planning the night before, I am a jumbled mess in the morning, so I want to make sure that I continue my nightly planning routine. And then what's not working, like I said, my monthly log has gotten a bit stale. The self-care tracker is cramped and not enough info, which we've discussed, and then not reviewing my big goals often enough, which we've discussed as well. As far as reviewing those big goals more often, I think that having the weekly review is going to really help, and then also having all of those goals and intentions and plans straight up front in the front of my bullet journal is really, really going to help. So I'll have one easy to flip to place that I can go to review my goals on a regular basis. All right, y'all, that is it. I'm sorry for the long-winded video. I feel like I talked a lot more than normal, but I hope that you enjoyed kind of getting a peek inside my brain and my thought process going forward. And I'm really, really looking forward to next week because we're gonna have my first Plan With Me video in my new journal. So I'm really, really excited. I'll be setting up the month of April. So yeah, that is it, and I will look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. Bye.